How often you should be looking at your numbers and what to look at. Hey Tradies, welcome back to the Hey Tradies podcast. Today we're talking about something that a lot of business owners avoid. That's looking at their numbers. Now, I'm not talking about being an accountant or sitting there staring at spreadsheets all night. I'm talking about simply knowing what's going on in your business, because I see it all the time. Tradies working incredibly hard, doing great work, the phone is ringing, the jobs are rolling in, but they have no real idea if they're actually making money. And often, the only time they really look at their numbers is when the GST is due, when the accountant asks for something, or when the bank account starts to look a bit tight. And by that stage, you're reacting instead of making decisions. So today I want to talk to you about how often you should be looking at your numbers, what numbers actually matter, and how to make it simple so it only takes a few minutes each week. Why tradies avoid their numbers. First up, let's talk about why so many tradies avoid this. It's not because you're lazy, it's usually because you weren't taught it. It feels confusing, or you think it's going to take hours. And lots of tradies think looking at the numbers means sitting down with complicated reports that don't make sense. But the truth is, if your systems are set up properly, checking your numbers should only take minutes, not hours. And the goal isn't to analyze everything in tiny detail. The goal is awareness. You want to know, is money coming in? Is money going out too fast? Are jobs actually making money? Because if you're not looking at it regularly, you're flying blind. The minimum weekly. Ideally, you should be looking at your numbers every week. Now, I know that sounds like a lot, but realistically, this should only take you 10 or 15 minutes. The reason weekly works well is because it gives you visibility before problems get too big. If something goes wrong and you only look every 2 months when the GST return is due, you're way too late to fix it. Weekly gives you control. What to look at each week? Let's keep this really simple. There are 4 main things I want tradies to look at each week. 1. Your bank balance. This sounds so obvious, but it's more than just opening up your banking app. You want to understand what is in the account, what bills are coming out soon, what invoices are expected to be paid. Because sometimes your bank balance looks healthy until you realize you've got a $20,000 supplier invoice due next week. Visibility is everything. So having separate bank accounts for GST, tax, operations, wages and materials can be really helpful for this. This is what I do with my cash at Virtual Coastie. Accounts receivable, who owes you money? Next thing to check is who owes you money. Open your aged receivables report in Xero and look for overdue invoices, clients pushing past your terms, large outstanding balances. If something is overdue, follow it up early. The longer you leave it, the harder it becomes to collect. Cash flow problems usually start here. Check you've got automatic reminders turned on. Number 3, accounts payable, what you owe. Now look at your bills. Supplier invoices are due. Are you paying things too early? Are you missing payment terms that are there to help your cash flow? Good businesses don't just react to bills, they plan when they are paid. Number 4, job costing. If you're using a system like Fergus, this one is huge. Look at completed jobs and ask, did this job make money or did it blow out? Even if you're just reviewing a couple of jobs each week, helps you learn. Are you quoting accurately? Are jobs taking longer than expected? Are materials being captured properly? That feedback loop makes you better at quoting and pricing. Monthly review. Now, once a month, it's worth spending a little bit more time, maybe 30 minutes. This is where you look at a slightly bigger picture of things. Things like profit and loss, revenue for the month, biggest expenses, trends in your job. You're not trying to become a financial analyst, you're just asking, did we make money this month? And if not, why? A common problem I see. One thing I see quite a bit is business owners relying entirely on their accountant. Now, accountants are important, but they're usually working in the past. They look at last year's numbers. You are the one running the business today. And if you're only seeing your numbers once or twice a year, you're missing the chance to make better decisions during the year. Even just a quick weekly check-in keeps you connected to what's actually happening. Systems make this easy. This is why having the right systems matter. If you've got Fergus for job management, Xero for accounting, HubDoc for capturing receipts, then most of this information is already there. You're not building reports, you're just reviewing them. A weekly check might look like open Xero, check the bank account, check receivables, check bills, done. Why this matters? Looking at your numbers regularly does 3 really important things. First off, it removes stress because you know where things stand. Second, it helps you make better decisions. If you know you can hire someone, buy equipment, or take on a project. And third, it helps you catch problems early, instead of discovering issues 3 months later when it's much harder to fix. One simple habit. If you take one thing from this episode, it's this. Pick one day each week, maybe Friday morning, maybe Monday afternoon. Block out 10 or 15 minutes and look at your bank balance, receivables, bills, job costing. That's it. You don't need complicated dashboards, you just need awareness. Running a trade business isn't just about doing great work on the tools. It's also about knowing how the business itself is performing. You don't need to obsess over numbers, but you do need to look at them regularly. Because when you understand the numbers, you're no longer guessing. You're making decisions with your eyes open. And that's how good businesses become great ones. If you need help getting your system set up so your numbers are clear and easy to review, that's exactly what we help tradies with every day at Virtual Coastie. Catch you in the next episode.